is hip openers, and really more than ever, what you'll need is the usual stuff. So go and grab a belt now, quickly, if you need one. Also, if you're running for a belt, get a blanket, because you may well need a blanket, because it's going to be tough on the knees if you've got hard floor, and a couple of blocks, so, or whatever you can muster up. So it is really about being strong through the hips, and we're going to be coming into not maybe into it, towards King Pigeon tonight. So it is very strong, and it's a practice which is not only strong in the hips, it's also strong on the front of the thighs and through the hip flexors, and also the back. You know, there's an incredible, got to be careful with the back with this one. So I really urge you to be cautious, be inquisitive, by all means, be cautious. It's testing your own edge as we come into the practice tonight, but don't go beyond it. So there you go. That's the safety precautions. Don't want to put you off, actually, but it's worth stating, and I'll say it again as we move on. But let's start by just coming down to your back, and first of all, bringing the knees into the chest, and maybe you can even bring the chin into the knees to start with, and then allowing the head to release down onto the floor, just making the neck nice and long by bringing the chin into the chest slightly, but keeping the head down. And then let's just bring the feet onto the floor, and just having the feet far enough away from the body so that you can give the legs a bit of a shake and give the hips a bit of a shake. So shake your body, man. And then just bringing the right hand onto the belly and the left hand onto the heart, and gently closing the eyes. So let's breathe. So as you breathe in, allowing the belly to rise. As you exhale, the belly falls. So this is a very gentle massage into the diaphragm and the abdomen. Enables you to breathe deeper. Maybe you can even feel the rib cage expand as you're breathing in. Being conscious of the body, so feeling the shoulders release down into the ground. So it's quite easy to hold tension without even realizing it. And then when we scan through the body, we can release it. So softening the face and crown of the head. It's good to jiggle the jaw from side to side to release the jaw. And bringing the awareness down into the neck and shoulders, allowing the shoulders to release back as the chest opens. Feeling into the upper back and the chest, the lower back and the belly, into the groin and the buttocks, and the thighs and the knees, shins and calves and ankles, and into the soles of the feet. So having a whole awareness of the body. As you breathe in and breathe out, just feel the whole of the physical body expand and contract, expand and let go. Becoming aware of the space that is there already. Becoming aware of the stillness which is there already. So we're not going out to find that space and stillness and insert it. It's actually there, and it's cutting through the rest of the noise, allowing the mind to slowly come to some kind of relative stillness. So in a lot of spiritual traditions, it's always talk about the moving to the other shore. Calming the stormy waters. Whatever that means for you. And then just preparing yourself to move. And we're going to, first of all, stretch out the entire length of the body. So arms above the head, pressing the heels away. So right side, left side, finding that length in the waist, in the spine, through the shoulders and the hips, through the knees, all the way down through to the ankles and then up to the wrists. So finding whatever space there is inside of there. And then bringing the knees in towards the chest. And massaging the lower back into the ground. And placing the right hand on the right knee, left hand on the left. And just going to do some gentle hip movements here. So it's very simply, we're going to separate the knees out to the side and then starting to circle the knees. So really feeling the knees kind of feeling, well, the knees circle and you can feel this movement in the hip and gradually getting wider and wider as you, with the knees, feeling into the hip joint. Is it a rocky road, or is it smooth, or is it a curve, or straight and angular? This movement, whatever movement it is, you're not trying to achieve anything, you're just interested in what this is, what the quality of that movement is for you tonight. And then let's circle the knees the other way when the next time we come into the chest. So really enjoying this movement in the hips. A lot of people, this is quite an unusual movement. We're just used to moving our hips backwards and forwards as we run or we walk. practice tonight is really focusing on this area, opening it up, finding that spaciousness. And then next time the knees are into the chest, we're going to just release both feet down. And this is where you'll need your belt. First of all, we're going to just having the belt handy. So you're going to bring the knee into the chest, and then we're going to straighten out the leg. So having the belt around the widest part of the foot. So stretching off the hamstrings here, just finding that length in the hamstrings, and if you have got the belt, then you might even feel this more strongly in the calf muscle. And if you've not got a belt, then you can just clasp behind the right thigh with the hands. But just make sure that if you can, wherever you are, just allow the shoulders to release and the elbows to release down. And that's why it's probably more benefit using the belt, because then we can not introduce any kind of tension, any holding on into the shoulders. And to take this a little bit further, what we can do is straighten out that left leg along the ground if you wanted to. So when you do that, just noticing any extra strength in that posture. And if it's too much, if your leg starts to shake, or you're losing the quality of that in the leg, then just ease back, just bring that left foot flat on the floor again. There's always fine adjustments that you can make with this. And none of these postures are really, maybe the distant aim is to get towards these postures, but it's really, it's a bit of a cliche I'm going to say here, so forgive me, but it's the journey towards that posture. It's just exploring how the body is, how it opens up over time. So no force. And let's just, if your left leg has been straight, then we're going to bend that leg and the foot flat on the floor. And we're going to just place the right ankle on that left knee. So we're going to just be in this sort of reclined pigeon pose now. So we're going to come up towards the full posture as the class develops. So pressing that right knee away, and the left knee comes towards the body. But do keep that right ankle engaged so it protects the knee joint, so that the sort of opening comes through the hips and not a twist in the knee. And then to move this on, we can just thread the hands behind the left thigh. So the left thigh coming in towards the chest, the right knee moving away. And to increase the intensity of this, we can bring that left knee over towards the left shoulder, feeling it in the back of that right hip. Looking good. And so if you really want to sort of, if you're ready to move on from this, then you could hold behind the, sort of around the shin of the left leg. So that brings that left knee further in, but make sure that you keep pressing away. And if you're really sort of wanting to move this on, you can release the left leg, and then you can just hold on the underside of the right lower leg. So holding on the underside, not kind of gripping the top. We don't want to twist the knee. And then we can just bring that leg right up. And it's almost as if you're bringing the back of the knee behind the shoulder. But who'd want to be crazy enough to try that? Eventually it comes behind the head. And then let's just release that. Let's just release that. Give it a little bit of a shake off. In fact, straighten the whole length of the body. Giving the whole body a bit of a stretch off. Shaking the hips. And then let's come to the other side now. So I'm just going to twist around here. So we're going to come to the left side. So both feet flat on the floor to start, and then hugging the left knee into the chest, and then using the belt around the widest part of the foot, or around the back of the left thigh. Just release that leg up into the air. And the main thing really is to get that leg straight first of all. So leg is straight. So whether it's at a bit of a jaunty angle, we could be at 30 degrees or 45 or, whatever angle it is, eventually it will come up to 90 degrees from the ground. Straight leg first, and rather than having the leg kind of in a vertical, but within a bent state. And then from there, if you wanted to straighten out that right leg along the ground, that gives it a little bit of an extra, je ne sais quoi. And of course, everybody's breathing here. We're all breathing. Just having that, I would say about 20% awareness on the breath as we're coming into these, moving through these postures, it's just there anchoring yourself, using the breath. So as you breathe in, maybe you can lengthen that leg. As you exhale, maybe you can relax it a little bit more, bring it more vertical, whatever suits you. And then from there, we're going to bend that right knee and then bring in the left ankle over onto that right knee. So keeping that left foot engaged, of course, to stop the knee twisting. So if you let the ankle be loose, then you've got kind of a loose muscle there just below the knee joint. If you've got it engaged, the muscle sort of starts to tense up a little bit, holding the knee stable, and then you transferring the movement into the hip joint and moving it on by clasping behind the right thigh. So right thigh comes in towards the chest and in towards the right shoulder, so further over the right shoulder, the more you'll find this intensity in the back of the hip. And then you can hold the shin if you wanted to intensify it, or you can hold on the underside of the knee, of the lower leg. So one hand under the ankle, one hand underneath the lower leg and around about the middle of the shin. And then just bringing that leg right over. Doesn't really matter in a sense what the leg does, what the right leg does. Just let that flop down, let it kind of hang around a little bit. But wherever you are, breathing into that hip joint. And then just release from there. And a nice stretch once more, entire length of the body. Shaking off the legs. I'm going to sort of move this on a little bit now. So we're going to come into happy baby pose. This is a really sort of a good way to sort of starting to increase that intensity around the hip. So we're going to do one leg at a time. So we're going to start with this, with the right leg. So if you just, again, keeping the left foot on the floor and just holding on to the outside of the right foot. And really, and if you can, with the other hand, hold that foot as well. So right hand on the outside, left hand on the inside. And we're aiming really just to bring that knee in towards the right armpit. But the main thing is, if you look at my leg, the ankle is directly above the knee joint. So we're not in a kind of, we're not sort of twisting it right or left or front or back. We're really keeping that ankle right above the knee joint. So we're not twisting the knee. So again, we're coming right into the hip. And this is lovely, strong posture. Just you decide where it's affecting on your body. I keep looking up towards the camera, but normally I would have my head on the floor in this. And let's just release that now. And once more, just giving that leg a little bit of a shake off, just both legs, just releasing. And let's come to the left side now. So try that, keep that sort of happy baby on the left side. So left hand on the outside of the left foot, right hand on the inside, knees really bent, ankle is directly above the knee. No matter how you were to look at it, it's directly above the knee. There's no twisting going on in the knee joint. It really is getting into the hip. The knee and the armpit are kind of connecting with each other, maybe getting to know each other, not seeing each other for a while. They're really old friends. They fit snugly into one another. If you've ever got cold knees, then this is a good way to warm them up. I highly commend it for that purpose. It's quite using a bit of force, but there's no, again, with any of these postures, dull ache is good. Dull aches are good. Sharp pains, bad. So if there's any sharp pain anywhere, then do ease off. And then easing off there with both legs and a little bit of a stretch. Always good to sort of open the body a little bit to allow it to kind of come back. And then we're going to do it with both legs. So it's the left hand on the outside of the left foot, right hand on the outside of the right. And then again, ankles over knees and just really pulling down. But the trick is with this now, as you may have noticed, is that when we do it with both legs, the sacrum tends to rise. And so there's a little bit of a thing going on where we're using the abdominal muscles to really to press the sacrum down into the ground. And with this, you can sort of stop when the knees hit the ground. That's if you get that far. And don't drink champagne before attempting this. That's not worth it. It'd be crazy to do. Save that for later. So breathing in, being aware of the hips. As you exhale, bringing the knees down in towards the armpits. Just a couple more breaths here. And then release. Well done. Very strong opening into the hips so far. And then let's just give it a little bit of a rest in the hips, but from here, we're going to do some abdominal work just to come out of this. So we're going to roll up and down the spine a few times. So just having the hands so that the palms are facing down, fingers pointing towards the toes. And we're going to roll up the spine. And then we're going to come up and just do a little bit of a seated forward bend. And we're going to come all the way back down again. So rolling down. So zipping the spine onto the ground. And then opening, coming all the way up. And all the way back down again. Now, if this is too much, if there's any twinging or anything going on the back, so if you're happy with that, continue. But if you want an alternative, then this is really it's a strong alternative as well, but it doesn't put as much stress through the back. What we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we're trying to bring the thighs in towards the chest, but at the same time, we're going to press the thighs away. And as we do this, you can feel the abdomen starts to engage. So it's by no means an easier alternative on the abdomen. It's a strong posture. So, and when we do this, we can pulse a little bit. So maybe we can just release and then press. So knees in, pressing away, and then release. And press up, just pulse it a little bit. Just make it into your own practice with your own breath. Maybe you can pulse and hold it for 3 breaths and release for 2 breaths. Or 2 and 2, whatever makes sense for you. Otherwise, we're continuing to roll up and roll back down again. And then, so next time you're up, just lengthen the front of the body, just hinging from the hips. You're not going to stay here for too long. And then just going to come halfway back, so almost as if it's sort of about 45 degrees. Maybe you can just pretend you're resting the arms on the chair or on the arms of a lounger. Maybe you want to lift the legs up so that the feet are off the ground, lower legs are parallel with the body, but just make sure that the chest is lifting. If you wanted to, you can straighten the legs, straighten the arms. It's quite strong. So we were talking about the choppy waters, and this is the boat. And then release from there. Pressing the hands into the ground, lifting up the backside from the floor. And then back down again. Coming onto your back. Going to move out off the floor in a minute. But we're going to just bring in the hands so that they're outstretched by the sides of the shoulders. And a really good way to counterpose that abdominal work is to just gentle twist in the spine, bringing the knees over to the right, and then bringing them all the way back to the left. So this helps to just realign the spine itself, and also maybe able to feel this in the abdomen. Creating space in the abdominal muscles as we gently twist. And then next time the knees have been onto the left side, we're going to bring them up into the middle and then hugging the knees into the chest. Tucking the chin in, placing the hands behind the backs of the knees, and then we're going to roll up and back again a few times just to massage the back into the ground. It's quite a good thing to do. And then we're going to just come up into a kneeling position. So when you're ready, and it is quite a good, I do enjoy a good rock and roll on the back, and what better way to spend the afternoon. Let's just open the backs of the feet now. So tucking the toes under, the knees are sort of moving towards each other. Interlink the fingers and breathe. Open the chest. And close. Nudging the fingers along one and breathe. And close. And we're going to just feet flat on the floor. So it's nice opening in the tops of the feet all the way up to the knees, and you can either just stay there, or if you wanted to just press the fingertips into the ground. From there, we're going to tuck the toes under, and we're going to just come into this ragdoll forward bend. So let's just shrugging the shoulders, allowing the head to release into the ground. Quite nice. If you wanted to, just figure of 8 movement with the hands dragging on the floor. And then just slowly rolling up the spine. The chin lifts last. And just coming all the way up. And then let's just bounce a couple of times, just allowing the heels to lift, allowing the shoulders to fall down. A bit of opening in the shoulders as we do that. And we're going to start to just get a bit of opening now in the shoulders. We've done quite a bit on the legs, you know, but let's be opening the shoulders here. So because when we're in the posture, we're gonna really be. It's quite a strong back bend, but let's just do a few back strokes with the arms. So placing one hand on the shoulder and then just doing a bit of a back stroke and looking over the shoulder as well. So a little bit of a spinal twist. This is a great, I do this kind of probably every morning, I would say, this sort of thing. It's, just to get a bit of movement. And then let's do a front crawl. And then let's go to the other side now. So starting off with the back crawl and just a little bit of a twist as the arm comes back. So the hand on the shoulder, it just gives it a little bit of a, I don't know, a bit of heat, a bit of moral support, whatever. Heals it, encourages it. And then the front crawl thing going on as well now. And then let's just release that. Let's do a bit of a hip sort of movement. We had an absolutely fantastic hula hoop demonstration this morning. If you don't know what you missed, but it was pretty impressive. I'm sure that those who were there will agree. So I expect Amazon will be sold out of hula hoops by the end of the weekend. So it's going both ways in this. Again, just feeling the quality of the movement in the hip joint, as well as in the waist. And just giving the legs and arms a bit of a shake off. So going to move into a sun salutation sequence, or as I like to call it, an SSS, S cubed, that sounds good. Write that one down. So we're going to use that as the backbone, if you like, for a few other postures as we really get into the hips and start to open the chest even more. So if you want to come to the front of your mats, I'm going to move my back slightly. So coming towards the front of the mat. And I quite like to have the feet so that they're actually together. So this depends on your flexibility, but having the feet together really sort of intensifies this movement, these forward bends, obviously. But if that doesn't suit you, then starting the feet hip width apart and the feet parallel. So if you want to have the feet together, then heels and toes are touching, and bringing the hands into Namaste so that just in front of the chest, and just gazing towards the fingertips. So softly gaze towards the fingertips. Take a few breaths. That soft gaze, and maybe connecting with the body, with the ground under the feet, with the breath. But the gaze is soft, so the fingertips are blurred. Maybe you can even see a sort of outline of around the fingertips. Maybe you can see some light around the fingertips, or some shimmering going on. What could that be? Next in breath, breathe in, arms up, open the chest, lift in the sternum, so lift in the sternum, hips pressing forward, sternum moving up. As you exhale, folding forward, just halfway down to start. Bringing the weight forward slightly onto the front of the feet. And then fingertips onto the ground. Looking forward. And then stepping back with that right foot all the way back. Dropping that back knee. As you do this, just feeling the opening in the front of that right hip. So ease back a little bit. So easing back. Now engaging the right buttock, the right side, the glutes, and keeping those engaged, and then releasing forward. So you might feel a bit stronger through that hip flexor. And then from there, let's raise the arms up into the air, reaching up, reaching down. It's a little bit of a back bend going on. Keeping the fingertips of the right hand on the inside of that left foot. And then we're going to open up to the left leg. So a twist. So my back is towards you. A little bit of a twist going on. And then release from there. Coming down and stepping back into downward facing dog. And let's just walk out the dog a few times here. So one leg straight, one leg bent, hips dropping out to the side. The main thing is to really press the chest back towards the thighs and looking towards the knees. So keeping the back of the neck nice and long by looking towards the knees. That's really beneficial. And then externally rotating the tops of the arms. So they're good to find some space across the shoulders. And then both legs straight, coming right up onto the tips of the toes. And then pressing back, heels down, as far down as they'll go. So if the heels do touch the ground, then you can always walk the feet back. And then releasing the knees onto the floor. And I'm just going to sit back into child's pose momentarily. And as you do so, Just externally rotating the tops of the arms. And then breathing in. And from there, we're going to just releasing the chest down to the ground, but keeping the backside up in the air. So it's quite strong through the lower back, so just be careful with this. So this is our Ashtanga posture. We've got toes, knees, chest, chin, hands on the floor. So we've got 8 points on the floor, and then release from there. Coming into our Sphinx. And let's just move a little bit. Let's just move the body. I always think that this is a bit like it's called Sphinx, but there's a little bit of a cobra thing going on there, swaying from side to side as we laterally moving the spine, just getting that movement in there. Maybe you can look over the right shoulder towards the left heel, and looking over the left shoulder towards the right heel. Just looking, having a quick look on a few times on either side. If you wanted to move this on, separating the hands to about a 5-to-1 position, and then just lifting the elbows off the ground. So it makes it stronger, but just do consider this a chest opener. So if there's any hinging on the lower back, then ease it off. So you are completely in control of this, of any of these postures. So it's listen to your body. Don't force, please don't force. And it really is a great opportunity to open the heart up here. Beautiful posture for that. Release that compassion. Spread the compassion. Keep hold of it and spread it. And now from there, let's just bring the hands underneath the shoulders. And we're going to, keeping the knees down, we're going to come up. So it's a bit of a half press up there. And then we're sitting right back onto the heels, so it's child's pose. So I'm doing this because it's a nice sort of opening after the back bend, and then we're going to come up and keeping the elbows gripped into the rib cage. So we're going to come into this half chaturanga. So the nose tickles the floor, chest is off the ground, and then we're pressing up and all the way back. Breathing in, coming up. Remember to keep the elbows gripped here, the body becomes straight, and then we lower down, tickling the ground with the nose, and then pressing the entire planet away. Coming up. And then once more, let's come up. And floating down. Nose tickles the ground. Tuck the toes under now if you wanted to. And you could come into full plank. Not plank, chaturanga. Holding it there, strengthen the upper arms. And then release down from there onto the ground. And just resting. So bringing the one cheek onto the ground. Just remember which cheek that was. And just floating into the ground there. And now, so we're going to come into some Shalabhasana, back strengthening work. So nose pointing down to the ground, breathing out, and then as you breathe in, lifting the chest, lifting the knees off the ground. So lifting the knees and thighs off, the chest off, keeping the back of the neck long. I'm just looking around just to check what you're up to, but you should really be looking down towards the floor. Long neck, lifting up through the chest, through the thighs, and then release from there. So look, bringing the other cheek down. Just tuning into the heart there. Got a little bit of work, a bit of heat. And then nose pointing down. Exhale. And then inhale, lifting up through the chest, off the ground. The thighs lift off the ground. You're lifting from the backs of the knees. Couple more breaths here. Just lifting a little bit higher. Lift. One more breath. And release. And just feel the ground underneath the body. I find this the most relaxing position after that. A little bit of effort. But let's not linger too long here. Let's bring the hands under the shoulders, pressing into the ground. Coming up. And then let's just do a cat-cow tilt. So arching the back like an angry cat to start with. And then lifting the chest, just feeling this bit of a back bend going on. Tuck the toes under. Let's press back into downward facing dog. Going to raise that right leg this time up into the air and swinging it all the way to the outside of that right hand. So it's the outside of the right hand. I was telling you a bit of a last minute there, but there you go. And now we're back on the story of the hips. So release the pelvis down, and this is where you may need a block. I probably should have said so you have the block quite close-ish. But I kind of considered you to be responsible adults to do that. And so you can either rest the elbows onto a block or two, or you can, if you're super flexible, then you can bring the elbows onto the floor. So whatever suits you, but whichever position you're going to be in, just get a sense of the chest is draping down into the ground. So the spine is like it's a bit of a saggy old washing line, if you like. So just draping
into the ground. I'm not going to hold this for too long. We're just another 3 breaths here. So I find with hip openers and the sessions start to turn more into sort of yin style, but we're not going to get any egg timers out and start to have 3 minutes until we're soft boiled. Maybe one day. But from there, let's just ease off. Just moving the blocks. And from there, stepping out and back into downward facing dog. Just swinging the hips from side to side. Walking out the dog, finding some kind of opening. Just allowing the body to find its own balance after that quite strong posture. And then from there, I'm going to switch around. We're going to come straight onto side 2. So I'm going to raise that left leg up into the air. As we do so, you can feel the greater intensity through the right leg. And then swinging the left foot to the outside of that left hand. So again, just releasing down. And eventually the elbows will come onto the floor. But if not, then grab yourself a block or 2. Just allowing the chest to release down. It's beautiful intensity about this, but as I keep repeating, so dull aches are good, sharp pains bad. So you decide. So there shouldn't be any sharp pains going on really, but your hip will probably be saying thank you in a sort of weird way, you know. It's a sort of indirect thank you for waking me up after all these years. I've been here, you've ignored me. Now it is my time to shine. That is what the hip is saying. So every exhale, sinking a little bit deeper into this. Just being with that sensation in the hip joint. Couple more breaths here. And then just easing out of there. And once more coming back into our downward facing dog. Or, you know, I'm suggesting downward dog, but if you wanted to come into cat cow, or if you wanted to sit back onto your heels into child's pose, whatever really you feel you need, or whatever your body is telling you need. So overriding what the mind is saying to you, just do whatever you feel is right here. But wherever you are, let's just sit back now onto the heels. Breathing in, lengthening the front of the body. Exhaling, forehead onto the ground. And then coming up onto all fours. And we're going to come into this pigeon pose now. So we've done all this preparation. And so we're going to have a couple of options here. We're going to do 2. two things. First of all, we're going to come into pigeon. This is where you may need a block or two, because we're going to, depend on how flexible or not your hips are. But first of all, let's just walk forward with that right knee and bring in the, I'll just move around. And again, you may need a, just move around so I can demonstrate this. So the right knee is forward, and now we're going to just bring that right shin forward as well. So ultimately, it might be parallel with the short edge of the mat. There's no rush to get there though. Maybe if you've been practicing gymnastics from an early age, or if you're naturally mega flexible. So first of all, we're going to be in this position, and then we're going to, and this is where we'll need a block, maybe. So just having a block so that the hip can rest down, the outer hip can rest down. And then we're going to nudge that back leg back. And keeping the fingertips down, we can be in this type of position. So this is pigeon pose. We're quite pigeon chested. So you can probably feel it strongly in the hip, as well as strongly in the hip flexor and the back bend going on. We're going to come back into this, but first of all, we're going to just release the elbows down into the ground. And just allowing the forehead to come down onto the hands or onto a block. So release, and you can release that back foot as well if you wanted to. And we're going to just hold it for 5 breaths here, but every exhale, just release a little bit further down. So just breathing into that hip joint. So big, smooth breaths, just releasing all of the muscles. It really gets into the connective tissue in the hip joint here. And I make that about 5 breaths. We could have, maybe if we'd have breathed a bit longer, we could have really benefited. But let's just ease ourselves out of that, coming back into this pigeon. Now, we can either stay there, or if you really wanted to try this out, but do be careful because it's quite strong through the, and I'll move round now, but I'm going to keep on the same side, but I want to move around so you can see my back leg. So with this posture now, we're going to sort of be in this position. And now we're going to try to, if we can find the outer ankle of that back leg. And but just being careful with the back when you do this. And if you are really flexible, then eventually, and you can look at the internet, there's lots of pictures of people doing this, and but having the sole of that foot on the crown of the head. Now, how good would that be? Not sure, but there you go. Something to aspire to or not, but just feeling how strong that is there. Okay. And let's just gently ease off there. And we're going to just ease out of the that hip opener now, coming into downward facing dog and walking it out a little bit. And variant 2 now, we're going to just stepping forward now with this right foot. So it's between the hands. And this is again where you may need a blanket under the knee. And so this is known as one-legged pigeon. And basically we're going to be here in this position. So again, just being careful with the back. It's very strong on the back. I would sort of, yeah, I'm going to flash a health warning on this one. So strong on the back, and if you wanted to, you can hold with both hands if you're flexible enough. But you can see the chest opener, but the strength through the front of that hip is quite something to behold. So a little tour there through the pigeon posture. Of course, you've got the other side to do yet, so that's the good news. And let's just release from there. And do whatever you need to do to find some opening from there. So it could be downward dog or child's pose or cat cow or just lying down. Don't know. A strong drink. I don't know. Whatever is up to you. It's entirely your choice. Don't have a strong drink yet. Give us a half an hour. And then coming down, and let's do side 2 now. So we've fitted in quite a few postures here. But it's worth doing. Maybe this class could be broken down a little bit. But I was just so excited for the hip openers today. I just woke up feeling that way this morning. So I had to share the love. So here we are on side 2. So first of all, we step that left knee into the chest, not into the chest, into the hands, and then bringing that left. I'll come around here to show you. Bringing that left side forward. And this is where maybe you'll need a block underneath the left hip. So we're in this sort of this pigeon kind of chested thing going on here. And then just slowly we're going to ease ourselves down. So just releasing down, and depending on your flexibility, that leg could come more forward, or so if you brought it too far forward for you, then ease it back. So when you do look on the internet for these, just remember that don't have any posture envy. It's all about your body. The postures are simply a way of doing a few things really. They could be a way into stillness, releasing energy, exploring how your body. I quite like to explore how my body is, how it feels. It's a way of scanning for any imbalances, and that's the purpose for me. It's not about these gymnastic
style postures. Maybe if I could get into them, I would be more into the gymnastic style postures. Maybe I'm jealous. I don't know. Anyway, less of me. So let's release from there and coming up. So we're in this sort of pigeon posture kind of thing now. And let's find that back leg if you so desire. So you might want to just whatever you need to do, but holding on to the outside. And sort of with me there, you notice my knee just went, kind of it slipped away there. So just trying to find that again. So maybe one side half, not a blanket, that's why it's a bit uncomfortable. That's why I don't like discomfort of any sort. That's me. And so here we are, we've held on to that ankle. And it's strong, it's really strong. But try not to twist. Maybe you could raise that back hip a little bit more if you're struggling with this. And a couple more breaths. It does look a bit like the Isle of Man, doesn't it? And then release from there. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the posture does look like the Isle of Man when you've perfected it. And then, just a thought, and let's just come back out of this, doing whatever you need to do to find the balance. And then from there, just stepping forward with that left foot, dropping that right knee. And let's do this. This is our one-legged pigeon, so gives us the opportunity to have a little bit more movement than before, or me, certainly a bit more movement. So let's just start by holding on to the ankle with the right hand, and then maybe we could bring the left hand into play as well, but it is strong. It is a very strong posture. And sinking down, so the hips are dropping down. The chest is nicely open, but I can only just keep saying that just watching the lower back tend to arch the lower back, so really need to be tucking the tailbone under, but when you do that, it intensifies the hip flexor, so kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place in a sense in this, but we've got plenty of time to practice this. And then let's just release and just finding whatever balancing posture you need to just regain a little bit of opening. And then let's just step forward with the right foot, then the left into our forward bend. So we started off in a sun salutation kind of vibe, and we're just stepping back. Maybe there's not been perfect symmetry in our sun salutation, but who needs perfection? Who needs it?
too much of it around. Folding into the legs, lovely opening in the hamstrings there. Breathe, lengthen, exhale, folding a little bit deeper into the legs. And bending the knees, engaging the glutes, and let's lift up. Coming all the way up. Open the chest once more. And then bringing the hands all the way back into Namaste. Just holding it there. This is where we started off. Just bringing the gaze gently down to the tips of the fingers. So, shoulders releasing down. It's really connecting with the earth through the soles of the feet. Reconnecting with that stillness and space which is always there. It's always there. Softening the face and crown of the head. Tuning into the heartbeat, the temperature of the skin. Just being conscious of the breath. And then lowering the chin to the chest. Open the eyes. And lift the gaze. So we're going to come now into the final relaxation. So you could either be lying on the back in Shavasana or you could be seated, but so whichever position you want to be in. Shavasana would be good. That's it's been quite a strong practice, but at the same time, the sitting cross-legged after that, you should feel, we should be not well. There's no shuts, but you may feel a bit more open in the hips if you are sat with the legs crossed. But Shavasana it's highly recommended, and so coming onto your back and legs are straight and pressing the heels away, allowing the feet to flop out to the side. Of course, you can bend the knees if there's any issues in the lower back. Having the palms facing up towards the ceiling to have the shoulders to release back, and finding some space and length in the back of the neck by bringing the chin towards the chest. And if you're seated, then bring the spine nice and upright. Just allowing the breath to breathe. Feeling
into the body, allowing the practice tonight to absorb into the body. So connecting with that space we've created, a bit of space in the hips. Softening the crown of the head, and the forehead. Softening the face. Jiggle the jaw from side to side a few times to release the jaw. Being open in the neck and throat. Shoulders releasing back into the ground. Elbows releasing down. Any tension there may be, any stale energy, or just allowing that to move into the ground, to be absorbed and then transformed by the earth. Noticing the soft curl of the fingers. And then resting the awareness on the palms of the hands. Just feeling now the upper back and the lower back, where they connect with the ground, the buttocks. Allowing the chest to rise and fall with the breath, and the belly to rise and fall. Just feeling down into the groin and the hip joints now. Into the thighs and hamstrings, knees, shins and calves, ankles and feet. So having whole body awareness as you're breathing in and breathing out. Every exhale, just releasing further into the earth, which is fully supporting your body. Just connecting with it on some energetic level. And just breathe. The mind is wandering, and just gently bringing it back to the breath and the body. And then just let's start to lengthen the breath a little bit, breathing in the energy, prana into the body. Starting to wriggle the fingers and toes, circling the wrists and ankles. And as you breathe in deeply, deeper, let's say, and reach up and over the head with both arms, really nice. Yawning out the muscles in the face. If you've been seated, then it's always a good idea to do a little bit of a twist in the spine to release the spine after being seated for a while. If you are sort of lying down and just rolling onto your right hand side. Also, if you're seated, then it's a good idea to just do a forward bend, bring the elbows and maybe even the forehead down to the ground. It just helps to release the lower back as well. So a twist and a sort of opening of the lower back is always good to release any tension from being seated. And then wherever you are, let's just come into a simple cross-legged position. And well, thanks for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed this session. Strong through the hips, lots of postures in there actually. I think I accidentally emptied the encyclopedia of hip openers into that session, but yeah, that's they were just I think they were needed. So there you go. Namaste, everybody. Namaste.